ISPR warns India's delusional statements, and these statements, which are provocative and jingoistic, they're coming from the highest levels of the Indian security establishment. These irresponsible statements indicate a renewed attempt of fabricating arbitrary pretexts for aggression, a prospect which might lead to serious consequences for peace and stability in South Asia. A correspondent, Fahahd Ahmed Misson, is joining us. So, well, Fahahd, we're seeing that ISPR has warned that such delusional, provocative and jingoistic statements, these will not end in a good way. What's your take on that?
Yes, so the ISPR has issued a hard-hitting statement, and also Pakistan's military unit has strongly condemned what it described as the delusional, provocative and jingoistic statements by India's top security leadership, warning that such rhetoric risks pushing South Asia toward renewed conflict with catastrophic consequences. And also ISPR has made it clear to the Indian leadership that we have noted with great concern that delusional, provocative and jingoistic statements coming from the highest levels of the Indian security establishment, and these irresponsible statements indicate a renewed attempt at fabricating an arbitrary pretext for aggression, a prospect which might lead to serious consequences for peace and stability in South Asia. ISPR has further added that for decades, India has benefited from playing the victim card and painting Pakistan in negative light, which, while stoking violence and perpetrating terrorism in South Asia and beyond. And ISPR has also illustrated the pertinent fact that this narrative has been sufficiently debunked, and now the world recognizes India as the true face of cross-border terrorism and the epicenter of regional instability and risking the peace of the world. And earlier this year, according to the ISPR, the Indian aggression against Pakistan brought two nuclear powers to the brink of a major war. However, India seems to have forgotten the wreckage of its fighter jets and stunning humiliation and the wrath of Pakistan's long-range vectors. Suffering from collective amnesia, India now seems to be taking over for the next round of confrontation in the face of highly provocative statements of the Indian Defense Minister and its army and army chief, air chief. We caution that ISPR has warned that a future conflict might lead to cataclysmic devastation. In case a fresh round of hostilities is triggered, Pakistan shall not hold back. India must keep in mind, Pakistan shall not hold back, and Pakistan shall resolutely respond without any qualms or restraint, and India will be wholly and solely responsible for any catastrophic consequences. Those seeking to establish a new normal must know that Pakistan has established a new normal of response, a swift and decisive one, which will be again swift, decisive and destructive in the face of unwarranted threat and reckless aggression. The people and the armed forces of Pakistan have the capability and resolve to take the fight to every nook and corner of the enemy's territory, and this they will remember forever. To their horrors and to their shock, this time we shall shatter the myth of geographic immunity, hitting the farthest reaches of the Indian territory. ISPR has made it clear to the Indian strategic leadership, and as for the talk of erasing Pakistan from the map, India must know that if situation comes, the erasure will be met with mutual response and swift and decisive response, and with equal matching response from Pakistan and from its armed forces and from the people of Pakistan. Yes, Sadaf?
That India has always been spreading misinformation, disinformation, and the whole world now knows that India is very much famous of doing the false propaganda as well. But, you know, like, since everybody knows about it, and this is nothing new, and everybody is already aware that India will be delivering false news, they will be coming up with false propaganda as well. But they have seen this whole running race of misinformation, disinformation, and false flag operations and everything. These lies, they have not taken India anywhere, and we're seeing them getting defeated at the hands of Pakistan Army, Pakistan's armed forces, either it be in the air or ground or sea. It's always their defeat, and we have seen them getting such a bad defeat in Operation Bunyanu Marsoos. Don't you think that India should learn from their past mistakes? Because, you know, like whatever we were heading towards, that was a situation that India surely does not want to have. Don't you think that this is the time for India to come into its senses and, you know, start taking some measures, talking about some positive stuff, and, you know, like getting things back to the normal, because they know that they cannot be hegemonic in this region?
Yes, sir, you have rightly pointed out that the Indian leadership seems to be intoxicated with the madness and the poison of power politics. They are using war as an instrument of statecraft, which the world has moved on. They have given this policy of using the war as an instrument of statecraft. But unfortunately, they are living in some kind of an ancient and primitive era, and they are fueling and protect the region into the risk of a major conflict, a nuclear catastrophic conflict, just to save their political bank and political vote bank and to take political mileage. But the ISPR, from where they are gaining the strength, they were actually gaining the strength from the geographical strength, that India is a big map land and Pakistan is the smallest in the land in terms of land and geography. If nuclear attack and nuclear things happen, only the partial territory of the India would be affected, and the rest of the India will be kept immune, or they will be having this advantage. But the strong worded statement from Pakistan's military has made it very clear that this time, if conflict or the saber rattling from India was actually triggered, the whole region will suffer the consequences, and the myth of Indian big land or geography would be shattered to its core. And you know, this very strong worded statement marks a significant escalation in rhetoric between South Asia's two nuclear armed rivals, and by rejecting India's recent security statement as a delusion and provocative, Islamabad has not only reaffirmed its deterrence posture, but also signaled that it is prepared to meet any potential escalation. And ISPR's warning that a renewed conflict could lead to cataclysmic devastation, it also underscores the persistent risk of nuclear big mansion in South Asia as well. India will be wholly and slowly responsible, and with both states in possession of a sophisticated nuclear arsenal, any miscalculation, once again I am referring to any miscalculation from any state, that...
Thank you so much, Fahahd Ahmed Misson, for the update. Irresponsible